My name is Ray Latif. I'm the managing editor of BevNet. That's the sister publication to Brewbound. And I'm the host of the 2018 Brewbound Pitch Slam, which is sponsored by Craft Brew Alliance. How was everyone's lunch? How was everyone's lunch? Okay, good. We strive to feed well if possible. All right, so this is the final round of the Pitch Slam. The Pitch Slam is a one-of-a-kind business pitch competition that gives entrepreneurs behind the beer industry's next breakout brands an opportunity to sample their innovative products and showcase their business plans to our expert panel of judges. 5 brands from our semifinal round, which was held yesterday, have moved on to today's final round. Here are the rules. Today's contestants will have 3 minutes to deliver their pitches. If they attempt to go longer than 3 minutes, they'll hear this sound. This is coordination, this is teamwork. Thank you very much, Brad. Well done. The judges will have 4 minutes to ask questions and provide feedback to the contestants. The winning brand will receive a trip to Portland, Oregon to meet with and learn from Craft Brew Alliance, as well as a $10,000 industry awareness package from Brewbound. They'll also receive free entry into the 2019 Brewbound Live Conference. All right, let's meet our judges. Starting to my left is Ryan Lake, who's a managing director with OMAC Beverage Advisors, which is a hyper-specialized investment banking firm that focuses solely on the beverage industry. Next up, we have Carmen Olson, who's the director of innovation for Craft Brew Alliance, where she leads product exploration across beverage categories. And we have Fred Hart, who is the creative director and a partner at Interact Boulder, a branding and packaging design agency focused on the food and beverage industry. Next up, we have Thomas Bly, who is the innovation brewmaster for Craft Brew Alliance, where he leads a team of innovation brewers who create new products, explore new ingredients, and engage in forward-thinking research and development. Last but not least is Dave Fields, who is the managing partner of Wormtown Brewery in Worcester, Mass. Go Worcester. Under Dave's leadership, the brewery has grown from 2,700 barrels in 2014 to 27,000 barrels in 2018. All right, that's a lot of information. Most important thing are the contestants, so let's bring up our first one. That's Margaret Link, the Director of Marketing for Sufferfest Beer Company. Well done. Good to see you again.
Thank you, you as well.
You can use either mic. Yeah, just
testing.
you got your timer here.
All right, I was told not to come up here and do 3 minutes worth of push-ups, so I'll just go through this slide instead. Anyways, hi, my name is Margaret. I'm the Director of Marketing at Sufferfest Beer Company. We are a woman-owned B Corp craft brewery, and we're the first of our kind to make functional beer. But before I get into that, you need to know what a Sufferfest actually is. So a Sufferfest is actually a term of endearment in the endurance sports community. It's reserved for the hardest, grittiest, most intense workouts where you're ailing and toiling, and then you get to the finish line and you're like, that was pretty cool, I'm gonna do that again. So as an endurance athlete myself, I can tell you from experience that there is no greater feeling than when you see the light at the end of the tunnel and you collapse over the finish line and then someone hands you an ice cold beer. And that moment, that celebration, that is why we do what we do. And we believe that no matter if you're running 50 miles on the trail or putting in 8 grueling hours in the office, you deserve a beer that works as hard as you do. And that's who we are, and that's what we believe. And we can speak to this consumer so well because we are that consumer. We are a team of sweaty, active, adventurous wanderlusts who just really believe that beer is this uniting thing that you can share your war stories over after any good effort. And that kind of wraps us back to our founding story, which is that our founder, Caitlin Landesberg, started this brand because she didn't find a beer on the market that supported her active and healthy lifestyle. She wanted a beer that did a little bit more for her, and as a picky consumer, it didn't exist. And thus, functional beer was born. And I think someone just asked me, Margaret, what's functional beer? It was a really good question. Thank you, audience. A functional beer is beer that confers benefits beyond just great taste. We believe that great taste is the absolute bare minimum to be able to exist. And beyond that, we can add a little bit more and see if we can't push push the envelope a little bit with what beer can do for you. And so while all of our beers have their own special place addressing the tenets of a fit and active lifestyle, I wanted to talk about two in particular today, FKT Pale Ale and Repeat Kolsch. So FKT Pale Ale, brewed with electrolytes and black currant, so it's perfect for that post-sweat moment. Actually has as many electrolytes as a Gatorade, and it's a little bit more fun because it's beer. Next up, we have Repeat Kolsch. It's our low-cal, low-carb, low ABV Kolsch brewed with bee pollen. So it's a light beer, a low-calorie beer that actually has amazing flavor, which you've probably never heard of before because most low-cal, low-carb beers don't really deliver on flavor. But that's all to say that what we do exists at the bleeding edge of functionality, and because we're athletes and we like to be first, we can't wait to show you what we're up to in 2019. Thanks, everyone.
Well done.
Thank you.
Great stuff. All right. Let's see if the judges have any specific questions for Margaret. Anyone? No? All right. We'll start with Ryan then. Oh, Ryan, did you have a question?
Yeah. I mean, how do you incorporate the athlete focus into your marketing, branding, sales efforts?
Great question. So one of the most significant things we do is that we have community managers in every community in which we sweat and celebrate and serve beer. And that serves a variety of reasons. But one of the cool things is that we keep our ear to the ground on what the consumer and what athletes are really demanding. And then we use that content to tell our story. Because really our story is like, we're serving beer to people who like to go the extra mile, and we like to be there celebrating with them. And so a lot of our branding and a lot of our storytelling originates at those moments, those points of inspiration.
All right. Dave, do you see some opportunity for a functional beverage drink functional beer? And if so, I mean, what do you think of the proposition that Margaret laid out?
So it's certainly an interesting segment. You know, when we're fighting for craft beer market share, we're fighting for the smallest piece of a pretty large pie. And you guys honed in on the smallest of the smallest piece. And I actually wanted to ask a question, which is, in your mind and your research, how big is that marketplace that you're looking at? And then my follow-up to that is, geographically speaking, where is it that you guys want to be?
Great question. So I'll take the market question first. So we're not going after just the craft beer market. We see our opportunity is much bigger than that. We are gear. We're an outdoor company, and beer is our gear. So when we're looking at our market opportunity, we see beyond the edge of craft beer. And as for geography, I mean, we want to be anywhere where people are crossing finish lines, and more Americans are going to be doing that in 2018 than ever. And so really active, outdoorsy places, that's where we find our tribe, and that's where we have resonated. So we're in California and Colorado right now. You're going to see us moving up and down the coast and into those cities where, you know, people are active and having fun and slamming beers afterwards.
And doing push-ups too, right?
And doing push-ups. Meet me in the parking lot. No.
Fred, the tagline, beer with benefits, what do you think of it, and does it adequately describe Sufferfest?
I think beer with benefits is a great way to reach your audience and market to them. Obviously, you've followed that up in the actual formulation of what you guys are doing and the ingredients. That consumer cares about benefits. Benefits is purpose, is function. To me, one of the most interesting things is you're a little bit of the in-the-know brand. So for someone on the outside who isn't, a hardcore enthusiast, Sufferfest doesn't mean anything. Some of the the beer names don't mean anything to them. And there's a nice little hook or story once they do figure that out. The thing that I'm curious with is, right now the brand is kind of built to speak the language of a craft beer consumer, but not necessarily your audience's language of athletics or apparel. And so would you be better off kind of looking at building a visual world that more suits the consumer than the space that you occupy?
That's a great question. And it's something that I think we are thinking about a lot too as we push ourselves to speak to a broader audience. So yeah, it's definitely something that we're considering, and it's a dynamic process, as you know, with building a brand and evolving to meet the needs of your consumer.
We don't have much time left, but Carmen, in terms of the lifestyle aspect of Sufferfest, does it balance itself out? Does it work with the liquid?
Yeah, I think as always, really good beer is table stakes to the game. I think that you definitely proved that yesterday in tasting the Kolsch. I was surprised with the body in this one. I was expecting a little bit more for 5.5%. It was still very refreshing. I think the thing that I will challenge you guys with is getting really clear on how you communicate the benefits part, because as you know, you can run into some issues with the TTB and communicating the fact that there are electrolytes or there are other benefits. So one of the challenges you guys should be up for.
Great. Tom, we're out of time, unfortunately, but I'll start with you next time.
All right.
All right.
Tom, we'll talk later. Thanks.
Round of applause for Margaret.
Thanks, guys.